Hey guys, what is up? My name is Martin and I finally figured out why Xiaomi released a Redmi S2 model. Because if you have seen this picture, or maybe this one, do you believe that this smartphone actually costs only $150? Or maybe now you do, because it also comes with 4K video support, with electronic image stabilization supported by a gyroscope, and it also has a portrait mode on the front and rear camera, and also a flash for the selfie camera. Well, that's quite a lot, so let's go. So to come back to my first point, yes, I finally figured out why Xiaomi released the Redmi S2 model. And there are basically 3 points for that. First of all, it's for the camera. The second thing is because of the price point, it's approximately $150. And the third point is they follow some sort of similar strategy to Samsung, where they release a lot of smartphones, but more on that a little bit later. So in case you haven't seen my unboxing with the first impressions and my hands-on review of this Xiaomi Redmi Note 2S, then this is the quick side note, because I will leave it in the top right corner for you to check it out in case you haven't seen it so far. The first point is the camera, which is probably the most obvious, because this device is shipped with a dual rear camera setup, and it's not often found on devices less than $150. Well, sometimes there are those devices, but they have often fake artificial bokeh effect filters or fake second cameras. And I've tried quite some in the past, and trust me, just don't do it. But this Xiaomi Redmi S2 model is Xiaomi's most affordable device with a dual rear camera setup. That works and delivers a lot. So if you're subscribed to the channel, you've probably seen this picture in the timeline, because I was impressed by the quality. There are two small, like really small areas that are barely visible. One spot is underneath my armpit because it's not blurred, and the AI software was probably doubting if it was my hair or something else because it looks kind of half blurred. The same with the other edges that I show you over here. When you have a furry monster like this, the software really has some troubles to detect the edges, which might be an indication that it's all done software-is and not by a real dual camera setup, but I will leave that to you to discuss in the comment section down below. I will show you some other portrait pictures and pause the 4K video if you want to inspect it a little bit better. Also important to highlight is the speed of the portrait pictures, as this increases the difficulty for the camera and software a lot. I think it's very acceptable, even though my girlfriend's hair is blurry too much and it's a bit too brown. Is the edge detection pretty good on the right side, but on the left side it's not blurred, for example. One thing I didn't expect is the possibility to create a portrait photo with a single front camera. Now, it's definitely not the best, but the edge detection by the software is pretty good. The only thing I don't really like is the tendency of the software and camera to overexpose to make everything whiter and lighter, more than normal. So here we have the selfie camera of the Xiaomi Redmi S2, and as you can see, as always or very often on Xiaomi devices, it overexposes like crazy, and it doesn't need to be, because I'm here in the shadows, and even when I try to be a little bit more in the sun, you know, it's just overexposing too much. Other than that, I think it looks pretty good, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And yeah, it's too bad, because it's actually quite nice outside, and yeah, just the exposure could be better. Another thing that I'm impressed by is the video, not because it shoots only in 1080p with the standard MIUI camera application, but because the gyroscope, because it aids the electronic image stabilization, resulting in some super smooth footage, as you can see here. And don't forget to listen to the audio, because the microphone didn't pick up as much wind as I expected. But more importantly, if you download the Open Camera application from the Google Play Store, you can override the 1080p limit and shoot in 4K, with the same electronic image stabilization with the gyroscope support. Why Xiaomi didn't activate this in their software is weird and a question to me, because it's stable enough, and not as stable as 1080p though, but the footage is, well, you can see it yourself over here.
Goed zo, kom maar.
So here are some random pictures that I've shot with Auto HDR on during daylight conditions, dusk, night, low light and fast movements like biking, and I'm asking you to be the judge around. So what do you think of the video quality, the microphone quality, the smoothness of the portrait pictures and the normal pictures? I think that for a $150 device, it's excellent, but you receive definitely a lot for the price, including 4K stabilized video, Auto HDR, a portrait mode and much more. But share with me in the comment section, what do you think? The second point I want to highlight is the price tag for this Redmi S2 model. In China, the 3 gigs and 32 gigs of storage model retails for 99 RMB, which is roughly $160. If you live in Western Europe, the US, etc., then spending an extra $20 to purchase the Xiaomi A1 or the Mi 5X, it's very advisable to do. But for the majority of the people in this world, spending an extra $20 or $30 can be crucial, and that's why I understand why Xiaomi wanted to introduce this smartphone. I've been living in Bulgaria, where the minimum salary is 250 euros per month, and spending an extra 20 euros is a lot then. Xiaomi is with the Redmi S2 one of the cheapest, or basically the most affordable real dual camera smartphones in the market right now, and with the picture and video quality in mind, I think they do an impressive job. So the third point that I really want to discuss over here is the strategy, because many of you agreed with me that Xiaomi released too many smartphones in a short period of time, and I kind of agree with that. But ever since I've been using this phone, I've been thinking about the pricing strategy of the phone and the features you get in return. But I think I understand by now in which direction they want to go, and which I will try to briefly explain over here. But for that, we need to jump back in time a little bit to 2012. Samsung started around this time to release many smartphones to a point where customers didn't know which models were what, were specialized in or priced for. They just knew that Samsung released a lot of smartphones for a good price back then. And more people started to purchase Samsung, and this increased their market share rapidly. Xiaomi is following the same path, I believe. They put a 5% margin on hardware, but often with a net loss. They release many smartphones and they diversify their portfolio with many devices to capture most of the market and increase the market share from there. This is one of the reasons why Samsung became so fast, so big, and I think that Xiaomi is following a similar route. So there are a couple of things that I like and dislike about this device, in which most of them I already listed them in the hands-on review and my first impression video. One of the other things that I didn't discuss yet was the battery life. In short, the battery life is for a 3080 mAh battery, good. It's nothing special though, but it will easily get you through the day. I always run a battery test the same way for you to compare devices over time with the same PC Mark application, and then I select the Work 2.0 battery life test with everything turned off and the screen brightness set to 200 nits. So the battery scores 10.5 hours in this application, which is not the best I've seen, but it's just good. It translates to 1.5 days of battery life with notifications running all day, one phone call, a lot of YouTubing, browsing the web often, some Facebook scrolling and playing some of my favorite games like PUBG and Clash of Clans. The other important thing that you might want to know is that when you're a big fan of the iPhone X gestures, Xiaomi integrated this as well, but I don't see the necessity of it. There's still a headphone jack and an IR blaster. There are 2 SIM slots and a microSD card slot, which is a great feature. And this is the global ROM version with band 20 for good European 4G internet. There's an FM radio for those who desperately seek it, Android 8.1, and dual rear cameras as mentioned before. But for this $150 device I got tricked by the plastic back cover. You only get a 720p resolution display, even though it's not that bad. Selfie camera stitching isn't always accurate. Fast charging is not possible and we're stuck with the micro USB port cable to charge. So let me just quickly summarize it for you. If you can afford to spend another $20 or $30, I would definitely advise you to go for the Xiaomi A1, the Mi 5X, or for example the Redmi 5 Plus, because you get more bang for your buck. But if you prefer to save the $20 to $30, then I don't think that the Redmi S2 model is a bad device at all, because I believe truly that this device is one of the best budget camera smartphones in 2018 that you can buy right now, because for $150 I don't think that you can get anything better for this price segment. So, I will leave all the links in the description down below where you can find the current price for this device because it fluctuates a little bit. You can also find my unboxing video with all the hands-on and the first impressions. You can find the application that I use, the open camera, and all the other information that you might need to make a decision. If you haven't subscribed already, I really advise you to do so to see more Xiaomi tech. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please consider to give it a like. And then I hope to see all of you in the next one.